So, I want to talk about the Vipissana retreat I was just on. It's a subject I could talk about forever. I'm obsessed. So, what is Vipassana? Basically, it's a silent meditation retreat that I went on in Fishkill, New York. There's centers all over the world, and it's free. It's based off the donations that other people who have finished the course give. The reason it's free that I learned in the course is because when you go there, they want you to, it helps you to dissolve your ego. It has so many different functions, and it was truly transformative for me. But one thing is they don't want you to have expectations. So if you paid a certain amount, you'd be like, oh, I want it like this, and the food should be like this, and the process should be like this. And it's like, no, you come as a beggar. You're so grateful for everything that you're given and all the staff that helps you, and everyone, even the teachers, are there on volunteer, not being paid. They're doing it out of their own goodwill, which gives it a different feel. Like, you just know that they're there because they want to be there. They want to help you. They believe in this program so much. And when I first went, I did have such an ego. I looked at the beds that were available, and I was like, I went, and it was like a camping center. And when I saw the accommodations, I was like, oh, hell no. My friend texted me, Riley, run. I was like, I knew I was not going to not do it, but I was shocked. It was like really straight camping, and it was freezing every night, and like you could see, if you looked like in the floorboards, you could see like outside, like poorly insulated, basically a treehouse. And I'll insert photos of where I slept. And luckily when I first showed up, and I needed to get like a little alarm clock because you turn your phone in, there's no cell phones for 10 days, and honestly that alone was transformative for me, even if none of the meditation or anything happened, just because I got my dopamine back for the first time in my life. Like, my dopamine was reset, and I have probably already unfortunately ruined it. But when I turned my phone in, you turn in your possessions, I saw like little bins that said like blankets, alarm clocks, heating pad, and I was like, heating pad? I was like, can I get one of those, like, just in case? Even though it was the end of May, I don't know, it was freezing when I showed up, and it was cold the whole time. Like, it was so cold. It was such a problem. But now looking back, I'm grateful, because that's another thing I like learned to deal with, because being cold has been a problem my whole life. Like, sometimes when I'm cold, I literally just like want to go home from the function. And it gave me like tools on how to deal with even that. But basically, you meditate for 10 days, you wake up at 4 in the morning, and someone rings the bell at 4 a.m., you get ready, and then you can go in the meditation hall from 4:30 to 6. Breakfast is at 6:30, and then the mandatory, everyone sits in the group hall and meditates at 8 a.m. Then after 8 a.m., they're like, okay, you can take a break, and like new students come back. There's like instructions, and they play this like recording of the guy Goenka, who has like kind of widely brought it to the United States, and he's like the teacher, but we listen to him on like recordings and tapes, and he comes and like gives more instructions and like fine tunes like what you just did. And then they're like, okay, and like stay and meditate, and then you stay and meditate, and then I usually stayed till lunchtime. Lunchtime came, best time of the day, literally, at 11:30, and you could eat as much food as you wanted. I can tell you like what all the food was, because I was really curious like what I was going to be eating, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet, and I know each center is different. But my food was really good, actually. It was all vegetarian, and there was like a make your own salad bar, white rice, brown rice, and then like a dish of the day, which was like chickpea masala, or like a broccoli tofu tumble, coconut curry, sometimes pasta. I thought every food was like so good. And then you can have herbal tea. at breakfast, fruit in the morning. Oh, breakfast was also like porridge, like oats, toast with jam, peanut butter. They have like all these toppings. I only ate oranges for breakfast because I was sussed out. I don't know. Like, I've never ate like the porridge thing, and they had this like prune shit you could like pour over it, but like, I don't know. I just didn't. So I always have 2 oranges for breakfast. And then at night at 5 p.m., if you're a new student, you can only have fruit and herbal tea. I had so much herbal tea, and I wish I like continued that habit at home. Like, we depended on the herbal tea, and then after breakfast, like, I would just sit there with my tea for like an hour and like decompress and just think, and like time didn't move as slow as you would think during that time. And then I would like floss and brush my teeth, and then you have like little tasks, and then I would like go for a walk. Somehow, like, I had like my little schedule. I wasn't really like, I honestly was like never really bored, although I couldn't wait for it to be over. So anyways, like, I'll tell you more about the meditation. um Days 1 through 3, you're just focusing on the touch of breath going into your nostril and coming out, and you just feel that, and you feel it touch like your upper lip and like this part, and you get really good at feeling sensation right here, and you dial in on it. You dial in. And I remember like day 1 through 3, I was like, I'm obviously bored, but I was like, it's not like, why would you leave? Like, it's just kind of easy. Like, you just sit there, and obviously like my mind wandered a lot. Like, I would render like 90% of the time. I don't know if render is the right word. Surmise that 90% of the time my mind wandered the whole retreat. I literally was like, wow. Now that I'm home and I just do like the hour, I'm pretty much focused the whole hour, which is sick. Maybe like my mind only wanders like 20% of the time. Just because like I know it's 1 hour, but like when I was in the meditation hall, I was like, I just have all this time to think. Like, I'll do it later. Like, the task we have to do. And then day 4 through 6, we start scanning the body from head to toe. And it is a lot of work. And so, yeah, day 1 through 3, I was like, well, why would you ever leave? Like, it's kind of easy. I was sick though. I was coughing like crazy, like annoyingly. Like, I was that girl and no one else was. And I was like hacking up. Every time I would blow my nose, blood would come out. And I'm like never sick. So this was like so not even, I can't even believe this was like my brand, like my fucking reputation. Because like, and I just know everyone was like cursing me out in their mind. You like create mind stories, and like, and so like day 4, I got my period. I was sick, and I hadn't used the bathroom, if you will, since I got there. And I was like, I'm losing it. I want to leave. I feel horrible. And then we had to move on to scanning the body, and I was like, and this is hard. Like, this is just like the mental concentration. It's just like, I can't. Like, I don't want to do it. I got used to like just breathing in and out. So when we switched, I was like, and then like the teacher wanted to have a talk with me, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna ask me to leave. Even though I wanted to leave partly, I was like, but I'm not going to. Like, I'm fucking here. I traveled here. I took 10 days off. I told everyone I knew. Like, I don't want to waste like the first 3 days. But luckily, like, once the teacher we talked, she was just like, we just don't want to be in the dark. Are you okay? Like, do you need medical attention, like, for my cough? And like, they gave me like smooth move tea to help me use the bathroom, and I told them about my period, and like I told them everything, and they were just like so nice, and they just wanted to help me and make sure I was okay. And honestly, that conversation alone just like eased my mind, and I felt like more connected with the teachers, and I was super grateful for that. And I was able to move forward, and like I would say day 5, I turned a corner. Also day 1 to 2, I was so sleepy. Every time we had like a break, I would like go nap, and I was like, time went by fast because I was just like napping. Like, I slept through the whole day, and the teacher was like, yeah, usually like when you go from being so stimulated all the time to none, like it can cause drowsiness. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. And the new sleep schedule for me, which I've kept up the sleep schedule since I've been home, which is awesome. I don't want to lose it. Okay, so like now I want to talk to you guys about what I really want to discuss is like the mindset that I learned. So, like how it changed my mindset in my life. Going into it, I had gotten in a fight with my sister that was annoying, and I was in a toxic relationship with someone, can't even call it a relationship really, that was just really bothering me the way, yeah, it wasn't a respectful really situation. It wasn't empowering for me. um and I remember like day 6 being up at night and being like, I'm still like fucking pissed at my sister. Like I can't imagine getting out and like being unpissed. I still feel like if this guy like gives me attention, like maybe I'll like bite for it. Like I can't imagine like the switch being turned off of like not wanting it at the breadcrumbs I was getting. um and I couldn't sleep at all that night. And then the next morning I woke up and did the meditations again. And so besides those, keep those two things that I was dealing with in mind, and I'll talk about how it changed when I got out. I remember like Goenka would say, sometimes I would be sitting there, it's like day 6, we're on like the 3rd meditation, like the 6th hour of meditation for the day, and I would like pray to God, and I'd be like, God, get me through this, give me the strength to get through this. And Goenka would be like, no one's gonna save you, like you have to do your own liberation right now. Right now is when you put the work in. And I remember thinking that and like praying at the time, but then also being like, I'm praying, but like I could just put the work in. Like it kind of helped me a lot because I am constantly like praying and manifesting and like wanting to seek external help for my shit. And I realized in that moment, and one thing he teaches a lot is you can read scriptures and you can read passages and learn about intellectual wisdom, but there's a difference between that and feeling wisdom and experiencing wisdom that you never forget. And in those moments where I'd be praying to God and I would think to myself, okay, instead of praying, just do what you have to do right now, I realized I'm like wasting my time when I pray. And not to say I don't still like believe in God and rely on him. It's more like, and that he doesn't provide amazing opportunities. It's like, I just know now that like I was just wishful thinking, like almost delusional, like thinking someone's gonna come and save me and do this shit for me, but no one can do work for you but yourself. That was profound for me. That was literally life-changing. Like if I took nothing out of it besides that, that was so huge. And it's empowering, and it's also like shit, like you really got to do what you want to do and work for it, and put the work in. But another thing is like even day 9 I would just be like cursing out, or I'd have like a evil like thought come to my head. Not evil, but I remember like looking at some girl. We all had like these little coffee mugs for our tea in the morning, and you could choose. Some were plain white, some had like little designs, some had like this tribal print design, and this girl chose this like ugly like tribal print one, and I was like, I literally said in my mind, she would choose that fuck ass mug. And then I thought to myself, like, this is not working. Like I was really coming to like be a source of light and like not have these like judgments about people anymore. Like what? Why am I still like doing this? And then another moment happened where I like made a judgment about someone else, and I realized when it's just pure silent and it's your own energy and no one else's, and we're not allowed to talk to anyone else, I realized I'm the only person like holding that energy of like that was like that's ugly or that's not hot. Like I'm the one feeling that, I'm the one embodying that. That's not that person. That person might be lovely. Like I'm experiencing that, and that's only right here in my little vessel. So like I can think those thoughts, but like, for what, you know? And so that was really helpful too. Um, and then because it was a silent retreat, we weren't allowed to talk till day 10. And then day 10, we could talk. And then we still had 3 more mandatory meditations to do after we could talk. And the difference in the meditation before, when we couldn't talk, the meditations were so pure and just so me, and there was nothing else. I had no distractions, obviously, on the camp. So it was just me and my mind. And then, like, after we could talk and we meditated, I was like watching my thoughts, like I was processing like the conversations I just had and thinking about others, and like it I realized how much space it took up in my mind. And then when I got out, I really realized, like, on my phone, like, each little thing you're like intaking, like, is completely like you have to process that, every little thing. So like, only put things in your mind that you want to kind of experience or manifest, really. Like, it's that serious. And I really realized that because, like, I got out and I like checked, I stayed off my phone for 2 whole days because it was just so beautiful to be like out in the world and be free. I like took the whole train ride home, no talking or no phone, just used my wallet and asked people like directions and stuff, and like listened to the conversations around me. And like, now I realize like the joy of being a fly on the wall and like overhearing conversations, overhearing noises, sights. I started noticing like the corners of rooms more with like no phone. I started noticing the way light pours in a lot more. I started noticing architecture of buildings I hadn't noticed ever. Like, it was such a gift. That's why I stayed off my phone for 2 whole days. Like, I did not want to turn my phone on. I was like dreading it. I just knew once I did, it was over. I felt like I told everyone, like, the eyes of a baby, because you know, when a baby like hears a fire truck coming or something, they're not like stressed like how adults are, where we're like, shut up. Like, a baby doesn't think that. They're just like curious. They're like, oh. It's like, that's how it was. And I think also going from like place like that where it was so serene to like Manhattan, I felt like a kid in like a candy shop because there was so much to see, hear, and do with no phone. Like, just walk around, and I managed to book appointments and like do things I needed to do with no phone. I just like did everything the old-fashioned way, did my laundry without the app. I like asked the people if I could like just use my wallet and stuff, and I was able to manage like really well for a while. I read, and then I like went on my laptop first and I checked like the YouTube algorithm, and it was like some call her daddy shit and like Catherine Paez or whatever, like getting cheated on. And I was like, why would I watch that? Why would I put that in my brain? Like, some horrible story of some girl who like was in a horrible relationship. Like, I don't know her. Like, I don't need to be like, you know, putting that in my mind's algorithm. My mind's, you just really realize like the preciousness of your mind, and it's so beautiful and so powerful. Literally, it's so cool. Another thing I got out of it was basically, like, I've always wanted to achieve this, is transmutation. So when you're feeling something or you have an intense energy, to like transform it into like something you can use. So basically, I was like walking down the street. Now when I'm like out and about, I like don't look at my phone when I'm like walking down the sidewalk. I just am present. And I noticed my thoughts going to like an ex I had talked to, who's kind of like, I don't know, he's wise in some ways, but sometimes he just thinks he like knows it all. And I was just thinking about him, and like, he was basically telling me he like never wants to do the retreat, he doesn't need to or something. And I was like thinking about him and like kind of getting pissed off. And I was like, oh, I don't have to think about this thought right now. I can just come back and be present and transmute it into like I can switch. And since my mind was like, it almost feels like my mind was like a garden full of weeds, and I just pulled out the weeds because I was able to switch so easily. And I've always kind of been aware of that, but like usually my mind was just full of like so much junk that I'd switch from like this to this and then come right back to it. Like, I received like discipline. Like I just received like such a gift. There's so many other like little things that I learned about myself and the art of living, really. I guess I'm kind of also on some like who cares shit. Like who cares? I'm living purely and like I believe I'm keeping up with like the meditations in this way of life, and I do believe like that's because I'm on the path, I'll be rewarded for that. And I've just kind of adopted like a whatever attitude, because we learn about anicca, which means impermanence. No situation is permanent. So if you feel pain in your body, which you learn really deeply, because when you're meditating, you might feel like a pain in your back, and you can sit there and you can be upset about it, or you can just feel the sensations for what they are, separate it from your mind, because the mind makes a movie out of everything. So first you'll feel the pain, and then your mind goes like, fuck, like, ow, like. But if you just feel the pain for what it is, it's a tenth as bad as what the mind does. Or even being cold, for example. If you just feel the cold air like brush against your legs, that's all it is. It's up to you if you want to make a movie out of it. In 10 minutes, it might pass. You might regulate your temperature, or your back will feel fine. And the teachers always said, like, have a sense of humor if that happens. Also, even if it doesn't, the meditation's over in an hour, and like you can stretch or whatever, you're fine. And to just know that, like, so even when I'm like preparing my business and I'm like, oh, I want it this way, it's like, who cares? This is what it is right now. Deal with it. And it'll change. Like, it's not permanent. Like, your situation, how you want it to be, like, it's not permanent. And like, one thing that's like a little tough is like, even the good times aren't permanent. So we learn to like be unattached. And it was just, I am like obsessed with Vipissana. And I recommend everyone to go. I've been like talking about it nonstop. And yeah, this is your sign to sign up if you want to try it. And if this resonated with you at all, let me know. Or if you have any questions, like, I'd love to answer. I'd love to talk about it. But I'm really into like getting a beautiful shot, and I think this is good for getting like, that's kind of cool, right? Mm-hmm. But I can't go down now. Like, see how I'm all like twisted? Like, it's very tough to manage.
Oh, I see.
Like, now I'm down. I don't know. I like ease. I like to just point and shoot, kind of.
So simpler.